This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Jay Shy here with another video, and today's video is going to be very different because I think that I've had some time to reflect and some time to really think about where I want to go with the rest of my life. But as you guys know, I've had some trouble for the past couple of months. Actually, the past couple of months about my future in artwork and my future on YouTube. It's been difficult, very difficult, and I guess I should share some of the things that I'm thinking about doing, some of the things I'm thinking about tackling, and I must be pretty serious right now because I decided to take a little bit of the day off to really hammer out some paperwork. So, you guys see the title of this video. Of course, I'm thinking about moving into the spectrum of Webtoons. I'm taking the necessary steps that I need to in order to really hone in on this. First things first, for new subscribers who don't know me, my name is Jay Shy. I am a comic book artist. I'm an illustrator who does a full-time job. So it's hard for me to draw, and it's really difficult for me to do YouTube, and it's difficult for me to do like all these things and have a social life all at once. So I have to kind of like spread these things around. Last year I self-published my first I self-published sort of like a short comic book. It was the first thing I've ever published myself. I've worked on numerous projects for different companies and different writers. I'm just now dabbling into the spectrum space of manga. So what you guys are seeing right now that I'm illustrating as of now is my manga project that I started back in 2014. I decided to really hone in on this because I didn't want to lose it, and the only reason why you guys are seeing it right now in its blueprint stage is because I finally got the copyrights back for it. So it's copywritten. I can show it to you guys and do all those sorts of things. So I guess I should bring it back a little bit. So for a couple of months, I've been down in the dumps. I just really didn't want to draw. I didn't want to do anything artistic. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I didn't have any direction. I was very fortunate when I was young. Well, I can't say when I was young. At a young age, I was very fortunate to know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And the rest of my life, I knew I was like, you know what, I want to draw comic books. That sounds like fun to me. I am a self-taught artist. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. I didn't do any of that stuff in school. I just kind of taught myself. I've always been that kind of person. I've always been a person that always wanted to learn on my own. There are certain things that I've always wanted to do. So if I wanted to do them, I'll just teach myself how to do it. So for the first half of 2000, I would say 19. No, it was a little earlier than that. Because let me see. I did my first comic book and published it back in October of 2000. 2000, was it 18? No, it's a little earlier than that. 2017. I think I published ours in October of 2017, and I didn't really distribute it to the public until probably about later that year, which was December. So I would say 2000, in 2018, everybody got to read it. But when I was drawing my book Hours, I'll leave descriptions down below if you guys ever want to read it. It's free. I was burnt out. I was burnt, man. It took me a long time to do that on my own. I was writing the script. I was penciling. I was doing the inking. and I had to teach myself how to digitally paint. I had to do coloring, and I had to do lettering. I also had to do proofreading myself, and kind of like promoting it on Instagram and doing all this stuff. By the end, I was burnt out. Before then, I was always drawing comic books with a team. I was the penciler most of the time, and I was working with a team of, like 6 of us. Someone had to be the writer, someone was the inker, letterer, and colorist. So it was a lot easier then. But because the team, the last team I was working with, I guess I just wanted to get away. Because I wanted to do things on my own and see how fast I could do it on my own. And I did that. So I was like, oh, all right, doing it on my own is a lot faster. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go with my stories. But it's hard work. And that hard work burnt me out, and I just didn't want to draw anymore. After I was done with hours, I told myself, I was like, yo, I'm never doing this ever again. Like, I'm never working on a comic book, coloring it, and doing all that stuff ever again. And it took months, man. It took months for me to really get back into the groove of things. And it didn't really hit me until about, I would say a couple of weeks I've been kind of in a dumps. And then yesterday I was just like, I really want to do this story. I've been putting it off for years. I've been writing here and there. I've been illustrating here and there. But I always noticed that I always found myself thinking about it. And when I think about it, it means that much to me. I should just do it. So yesterday I was like, all right, I do want to make a manga. That's for sure. I want to make this manga. How can I do this? So I thought to myself, okay, why not look at it digitally? And I was like, okay, I should probably do that. So as you guys know, I took up a ton of my money. I bought a Wacom Cintiq. That was very expensive. Wacom Cintiqs are not cheap. Those things are pretty damn pricey. So I bought that. And then I remember my mentor, he's a friend, but I call him a mentor because I kind of look up to this guy. And he told me, why don't you look into this program, man? It's called Clip Studio. And he showed me a couple of things, so I was just like, all right, I'll look into this. I watched a couple of videos on it, and I was like, wow, I think if I had this program, it will speed me up considerably. Because I was thinking to myself, I'm a traditional artist. I like to draw with pen and paper. I like to use ink and all that stuff. Maybe I should just focus with that. And I was like, okay, maybe I should do this. So I ended up buying Clip Studio Pro or whatever it's called. That was also expensive. So I bought a Cintiq and mapped on this program, which is also going to make things considerably faster for me. So I ended up buying all this stuff, and I started drawing, and I was like, wow, this is speeding me up a lot. I'm able to do mangas a lot faster. And once I did that, I noticed that maybe like a week and a half into it, maybe 2 weeks, I hit a wall, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what's wrong. I'm just not motivated to do this. And then it took a little bit more time, and I noticed that the reason why I think I fell into the dumps is because I didn't have a clear goal. I didn't know where I wanted to go. The only thing I knew was like, I should draw this comic book and then I should print it. That was it. And I was like, well, I've done that before, and ours sold very well for, the physical copies, but I think I wanted to go into a different route, and I didn't know where I wanted to go. So then I remember talking to a friend of mine about Webtoons, and I remember I've read a couple of things on Webtoons, and I saw stuff, and I was like, well, I don't want to color my work. I never was really into coloring. I don't like color. My work, I mean, I don't like the way it looks. So I thought to myself, I was like, do Webtoons. Why not try it? Give it a try. See what happens. And instead of just making this large volume, continue to write it in volumes, but release it episodically, like on Webtoons. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that sounds like a great idea, but I should take the necessary steps that I want to do. So what I did was I thought to myself, I was like, okay, since I have the copyrights, I can show people this work. Next thing I should do is I should start with a clean slate. That's what I should do. Don't upload work on places where you've uploaded your previous work under the same name. So I decided to go with a pen name. And that name is down below. You guys can check it out. I've decided to go with the name Dacian Pepsi. First name Dacian, last name Pepsi. And I just thought it was a funny name. I just wanted this goofy name, pen name. So I've decided to go with this pen name and start clean. The only work that I'm going to be putting up on this DeviantArt that I've made and the Twitter account that I've also made. I'm gonna make an Instagram account as well, but the only work that goes up on there is work for my mangaka. And the title of my manga is Juvydora. Juvydora is a sci-fi action drama comedy. Like if you guys notice, I've drawn the characters kind of weird looking, because I wanted it to have like this feel of kind of like, what if the world of gorillas existed in a world that looks realistic. So I've kind of adopted like this. I always liked the character from Gorillaz named 2D. I always liked the way they did his eyes. So I was like, what if every character in my book had those eyes? That was it. So I took that and I kind of ran with it. So think of my manga, Juvydora, which is also, if you can't remember Juvydora, it's also Judu, which is Judu. It's a funny action, kind of like a Fooly Cooly feel that I'm trying to do. I don't want to explain what the story is yet until you guys are able to read the first chapter of it. I'm almost done with the first chapter, illustrating it actually, because what you guys are seeing me illustrate here on screen is page 20 of the first chapter. The first chapter has 23 pages, and this is page 20. This didn't take me long because what I'm doing with my art is I am changing it. So I've noticed that because I'm highly detailed in my artwork on like other projects, such as like Breaking the Fourth and working on like books like X-Men for Marvel and doing books for hours, I noticed that I'm highly detailed, so it takes me longer. So what I've decided to do was to make Juvydora kind of like this dumbed down version of artwork, but I still draw, I still produce artwork, but it's just not as detailed as usually because I need it to go faster. If I'm gonna do this Webtoons thing, if I'm not mistaken, I think you need to produce like at a schedule pacing. So that would mean that I'll have to, release an episode, every week for you guys, so you guys can enjoy it. So I've been looking into a lot of these things, but I've also have been working on doing other things, like creating like little figurines, keychains, and stuff for the characters, because I think the characters are kind of rememberable. And I've copywritten all of them, so I'm gonna be making these things from hand, even buttons and pins, and I'm gonna be giving these away. I'm also thinking about doing the whole Patreon thing. I'm not entirely sure if I want to go the Patreon route, but I'm probably going to in order to keep this going. Another thing that I'm thinking about doing is attending more conventions and stuff like that. What was the other thing? And there was something else. I forgot exactly what it was. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because I've been working hard on this, like really hard. And I'm thinking about slowly but surely I'm gonna save my money up and I'm gonna try and do this full time. I'm gonna work. That is the end goal for the job part. Planning to work my way into this so I can quit my job and produce Juvydora full time. Eventually I want to show you guys what the story is, but I want you guys to rather read it than me tell it to you. So that is all I have to say for now. Until then, guys, I guess you can call me Dacian Pepsi now, because that's what I'm going to be going as for now. Until, I don't know. until something else pops up. But until then, guys, I will talk to you guys another time. Peace.